The sound of desperate knocking woke me with a start. Through my bedroom window, lightning lit up the stormy morning. 3:14 a.m. Another knock, weaker this time, followed by what sounded like crying. I grabbed my cell phone, my heart racing, and ran down the stairs. Through the peephole, I saw her, Emma, my younger sister, soaked by the rain, one hand protecting her very pregnant belly. "Please, Sophie," she begged. She had nowhere else to go. 8 months. That's how long it had been since our family had rejected her. 8 months since Mom and Dad discovered their perfect 19-year-old daughter was pregnant by her college professor, a married man twice her age. 8 months of pretending Emma didn't exist. Before I could turn the lock, my phone vibrated. It was a text from Mom. "Don't even think about opening that door, Sophie." She made her choice. She chose to shame this family. Let her take responsibility for the consequences. My hand froze on the doorknob. At 24, I was always the responsible one. The one who followed the rules, the one who never let our parents down. Opening that door would change everything. "Sophie, please." Emma's voice cracked. "Something's wrong with the baby." I unlocked the door. Emma collapsed in my arms. Her clothes were soaked, her body shaking from crying. Her skin was freezing, and her belly looked lower than normal. Fear tightened in my chest as I helped her onto the couch. "He kicked me out of the house," she whispered as she wrapped herself in the blanket I offered her. "Marcus said he couldn't risk his wife finding out." I've been sleeping in my car for 3 days. My cell phone kept ringing. Mom's texts kept getting more and more aggressive. "You're betraying this family, Sophie. Don't come crying when she ruined your life too. If you help her, you're no better than her." I turned off the phone. Emma moaned, clutching her stomach. "The contractions started 2 hours ago. I went to the hospital, but they asked for my insurance information. I don't have it anymore. Dad canceled my policy." "Contractions. But you're only 7 months along." She nodded, tears streaming down her cheeks. "I called Mom first. She hung up on me. Dad blocked my number months ago. I didn't know who else to turn to." I took a good, hard look at her. I saw how much these months had changed her. The cheerful, vivacious teenager who'd gone off to college no longer existed. In her place was a scared, broken young woman who'd made a terrible mistake and lost everything because of it. "We have to take you to the hospital," I said, already holding the keys. "I don't care about Mom and Dad. I don't care, Marcos. You're my sister, and you're not going through this alone." "But Mom said," "I don't care what Mom says." My voice came out louder than I intended. Look what that's done to her precious reputation. They'd rather see their own daughter on the street than face what people might say. Another contraction made her double over in pain. They're getting closer together. Sophie grabbed my hand, her eyes filled with fear. "I'm scared. What if something's wrong with the baby? And if you don't think about that now, we'll go get help." As I helped her into the car, my phone lit up with one last message from Mom. "If you walk out that door with her, forget about coming back. You're choosing shame over your family." I looked at Emma trembling in the passenger seat, her hands protecting her belly. Then I reread Mom's message. "I didn't think. I'm choosing my family over pride. I'm choosing my sister over appearances. I'm choosing to be human." The rain pounded the windshield as I drove to the hospital, breaking all speed limits. Emma's contractions were now 5 minutes apart, very close together. "Too soon." "I'm sorry," she whispered between breaths. "I'm sorry for getting you into this. You're going to lose everything because of me." I squeezed her hand tightly. "You haven't gotten me into anything. I'm exactly where I want to be." When we pulled up to the emergency room entrance, I made a silent promise to Emma, her baby, and myself. Our parents may have turned their backs on family, but I wouldn't. Whatever happened, we would face it together. The emergency room doors opened, and I helped my sister inside, leaving behind the storm, our parents' judgment, and a lifetime of choosing appearances over love. This was my decision, and I would make it again and again. The hospital waiting room buzzed with fluorescent lights and quiet desperation. I paced back and forth as I filled out Emma's paperwork with my insurance information. Having listed me as her emergency contact years ago finally meant something. Sophie Porter called a nurse. "Your sister is asking for you." I found Emma in the maternity ward hooked up to monitors. Her face was pale, but calmer. The doctor, a kind woman in her 50s, was reviewing some charts. "That must be the sister," she said. "I'm Dr. Martin. We managed to stop the contractions, but your blood pressure is worrying." "It shows signs of preeclampsia," Dr. Martinez said. My heart sank. I'd read enough to know how dangerous it could be. "And the baby's heartbeat is stable," the doctor continued. "But we'll need to monitor you very closely. You'll have to stay here until delivery." Emma's hand reached for mine, and they said I could be here for weeks. "So, we'll be here for weeks," I replied firmly. My cell phone vibrated. It was Dad. This time I stepped out into the hallway to answer it, bracing myself. "Your mother is crying," he began in a cold voice. "How dare you defy us?" "Authority." I laughed bitterly. "Emma could have died in that storm. Your grandson could have died. That means nothing to you. That thing isn't our grandson. And Emma stopped being our daughter when she chose to bring shame. Or enough." My voice echoed through the hospital hallway. "Listen to yourself. Your teenage daughter was manipulated by a predator, and instead of protecting her, you threw her away. What kind of parents do that? We gave her everything. We didn't set any conditions. That's not love, Dad. It's control." I heard Mom in the background demanding the phone. "Sophie, this is your last chance. Come home now or you'll join Emma out there." I looked through the window at my sister. Something inside me shifted. The fear of disappointing them, the need for their approval, it all faded. "I'm home," I said. "I'm where I'm supposed to be. Bye, Mom." I blocked their numbers before going back to Emma's room. She was crying again. "I heard it," Sophie whispered. "You can't lose your family because of me." "Hey," I sat down next to her. "You're my family, and soon this little one will be too." I placed my hand on her belly, feeling a strong kick in response. "But your job, your life, my job has great maternity leave." I smiled. "I think it's a good time to use it." Emma's eyes widened in surprise. "You can't put your life on hold." "I'm not. I'm choosing to be with my sister and my niece." I paused. "Besides, my apartment has a spare room perfect for a nurse. Are you going to let us stay with you?" "Not that I'm letting them, I insist. You're not going to do this alone anymore." A knock on the door interrupted us. Dr. Martinez returned with the ultrasound, ready to check the baby. The grainy image appeared on the screen, and Emma squeezed my hand so tightly it hurt. The sound of a heartbeat filled the room, loud, fast, and determined. "Looks like someone's really keen to meet their family," the doctor smiled. "Do you want to know the sex?" Emma looked at me doubtfully. I nodded enthusiastically. "It's a girl," the doctor announced. "A girl, my niece." Suddenly, all our parents' talk about shame and family dishonor seemed ridiculous. How can anyone reject this little girl without even giving her a chance? "Gope," Emma said softly, tapping the screen. "I want to call her OP. Perfect." I whispered, watching my sister's face light up with the first real smile I'd seen in months. After the doctor left, Emma became serious. "And what are we going to do when Marcos finds out? He has connections at the university. He could cause us problems." "Let him try," I said. "I've already contacted a lawyer friend of mine. When Open is born, we'll ask for child support, and if he refuses, we'll expose everything. Let's see how the university council reacts to a professor who preys on teenage students." "You thought of everything. That's what big sisters are for." I stroked her hair. "Now rest. OP needs you to be strong." Emma slowly fell asleep, and I watched the monitors, which showed 2 heartbeats, my sister's and her daughter's. 2 fighters, 2 survivors. Outside, the storm had passed, and the sky was beginning to lighten with dawn. My phone displayed dozens of missed calls, from family, friends, acquaintances, even the family pastor, all eager to tell me how wrong I was, that I should respect my parents. I deleted everything without reading. Sometimes family isn't about blood or duty or reputation. Sometimes it's about choosing love over fear, what's right over what's easy, standing by someone when the whole world has turned its back on them. I looked down at Emma sleeping, one hand resting on Ope. In a few months, our little family of 3 would begin a new chapter. It wouldn't be easy, but we would face it together. That was my choice, and I'd never been so sure of anything in my life. 6 months later, I was sitting in my living room watching Emma sing softly to Ope while I fed her. My niece's tiny hand clung to her mother's finger. Those bright eyes, so similar to Emma's, watched everything. The transformation in Emma was astonishing. She was no longer the broken girl from that stormy night. She was now a dedicated mother taking online classes between diaper changes, determined to finish her degree. "He's growing so fast," I said, putting my laptop aside as I worked from home. 5 months already, Emma smiled. Can you believe it? The doorbell rang. Emma tensed. She always did when someone unexpected arrived. Old fears die hard. I checked the security camera I'd installed and froze. "Mama," I told Emma, who immediately grabbed Opejo's. Emma took a deep breath. "Okay, let's see what she has to say." I opened the door, but didn't invite her in. Mom looked smaller, older than her 50 years. Her eyes fell on the baby in Emma's arms. "I brought something," she said, her voice shaking. "For Opie. How do you know her name?" I asked, and I follow Emma's private Instagram account under a different name. She looked down. I had to know they were okay. Emma stood firm, holding Opie safely in her arms. "You could have called, written, or shown some interest all these months of pregnancy." "I know," Mom whispered. "I was wrong. I was terribly wrong." "And Dad?" I asked. "And he doesn't know I'm here. He's not ready yet." But I couldn't stay away anymore, not after seeing all those photos, watching my granddaughter grow up through a screen, knowing I was missing out on everything out of pride. Emma leaned a little closer, and Up turned his little head toward the new voice, watching our mother with curious eyes. "She looks so much like you when you were a baby, Emma," Mom said, tears already falling. "I kept thinking about when you were born, how I promised to protect you forever and instead abandoned you when you needed me most. You chose your reputation over your daughter," I said firmly. "Over both of your daughters." "Yes," Mom murmured, her shoulders slumping. "And I've spent every day since then hating myself for it. The church ladies stopped talking about it months ago. The family members already have other scandals to deal with. But I lost my daughters, and that pain never went away." Emma shifted Opie's arm. "What do you want, Mom? A chance," she said simply. "I'm not asking for forgiveness. I haven't earned it yet. Just a chance to try to make things right. To be the mother I should have been, the grandmother Opie deserves." "And Dad?" I asked. "I quit," Mom said, surprising both of us. She refused to even look at a picture of Opal. I realized I couldn't continue living with that kind of hatred. Last week, I moved into an apartment of my own. I exchanged a glance with Emma. We had built a good life over these months. Opa was growing healthy, Emma was healing, and I had found unexpected joy in this little family we'd formed. Was it worth risking all of that by letting the person who had hurt us so much back in? "We'll need time," Emma said finally. "And there will be rules. You can't just go back like nothing happened." "I understand," Mom agreed enthusiastically. "Whatever you need." I intervened first. "You have to acknowledge what really happened with Marcos. Emma wasn't a rebellious teenager who brought shame on the family. She was the victim of a man in a position of power who manipulated her." "And yes," Mom said, fresh tears streaming down her face. "I see it now. I should have protected you. Emma should have reported him instead of hiding the truth." "It's not too late," Emma said softly. "I've been talking to other students he approached as well. There will be a formal investigation." Mom straightened. "Tell me how I can help." At that moment, Ope let out a happy little coo and stretched out his little hands toward the gift bag Mom was still holding. Despite everything, I smiled. "What did you get her?" I asked. Mom opened the bag and took out a worn teddy bear. It was Emma's first stuffed animal. "I kept it all these years." Emma gasped. "DMR Nuggles." "I thought it got lost in the move." "No," Mom said softly. "I kept it, waiting, hoping that one day." Opes reached for the teddy bear, and Emma slowly approached, allowing Mom to hand it to her. The baby hugged the bear tightly as Mom looked at her up close for the first time. "Hello, precious," she whispered. I watched them. 3 generations of women in our family, each with their own scars and their own hopes. The road ahead wouldn't be easy. Broken trust takes time to rebuild. But watching Ope smile at his grandmother while hugging a piece of his mother's childhood, I felt something different, something opening. Sometimes healing comes in unexpected ways. Sometimes it takes a tiny hand to close the gap between two hearts. And sometimes when you choose love over pride, love finds ways to multiply. Do you want to carry her? Emma asked softly. Mom took open her trembling arms, her face alight with wonder. And in that moment, I realized we were all making a new choice, to build something stronger with our broken pieces, to write a different story for OP's future, a story of redemption, of second chances, of a love that grows strong enough. As if to overcome pride. A story that began on a stormy night with a decision and now continues under the sun of a new day with another decision to heal.